Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Rational Trader Podcast. It is Friday, May 15th. No, it's not. It's Thursday, May 15th. I'm all confused. We usually record on Friday, Louis, so I'm all messed up. This is, uh, well, Louis, welcome.
Welcome.
I had my setup all ready to go. That this is return to normalization in the market, but now my brain needs to get back to normal.
Yeah, well, a lot of rallies.
Well, indeed, and I think it's just fascinating the change in tone. And one of the things now over the years of knowing you, these cycles, especially in some of the growth names that you follow, you can get pretty hit. You can get hit pretty hard in some of these names when markets correct. But boy, you never panic, and I love that about you.
Well, yeah, because I have earnings to count up, So a lot of people don't believe in earnings, so they just get freaked out by the random movement.
Well, let's start there this week, Louis, because first quarter earnings have been fantastic. We're not quite finished with the quarter, but I believe most of the S&P 500 is reported, and we're showing 10% earnings growth.
Yeah, it's 11.2 on the S&P with 90% reporting, and we don't have Navellier yet. So we'll go a little bit higher when we're done. But we got Nvidia, Costco, Dell, the big ones coming up.
Well, and speaking of Costco, what did you make of Walmart's report that came out this morning before the market opened?
Oh, they beat. They did very good, and supermarket carrying them, and then of course they told everybody they have to raise prices a bit, but that's okay. We expect that.
Well, somebody has to pay for despite uh, the détente in tariff talk, there are still tariffs that are in place, and Trump likes to talk about the billions being generated on a daily basis. That money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, he moved well, he removed the reciprocal tariffs, uh the 145%, but he's got I think the 35% tariff still on right now.
Yeah, so the other thing that was interesting today was PPI, and digging deep into the weeds on PPI, there are some concerns that corporations right now are eating the tariffs.
I think you worry too much. The bottom line is that was proof the economists can't hit the broad side of the barn. It was 0.8% off. They were expecting a 0.3 increase. It was -5. So we have wholesale prices at the lowest level in 5 years. We have consumer prices, which also beat economists' estimates, lowest level in 4 years. Fed needs to cut. I mean, they just need to cut. They obviously can't see the forest through the trees.
Well, that was my impression of PPI. I mean, the deflationary bomb that I've been talking about, at least, is in process of going off. And
Yeah, no,
why on
it's
earth they're in restrictive territory on rates, I don't get it.
because they're ignoring the data, which is not what they normally do.
Well, and combined with that PPI really deflationary number, you had the payroll number, or I'm sorry, the jobless claims number. The jobs market's holding in fine. The economy's doing great, and I haven't had a chance to look at it today. Maybe you can preempt me, but GDP Now updated today, and it shows growth in the second quarter. Um, let's see, 2.5%. So that's up from
Yeah, it's
2.4.
just time for everybody to cheer up. I mean, the bottom line is we were listening to a false narrative, and it's unfortunate our Fed chairman perpetuated that narrative. And he was pretty rattled by retail sales today, which were only up a tenth, although they revised March higher to 7/10. Spending at bars and restaurant was up 1.2 in the retail sales report. So that's a good sign because if people are worried, why would they be out and about eating and stuff, drinking? And then the other thing is, you know, hardware and garden stores are up 8/10. Some obviously people are tending to their gardens and all. They got warmer.
Oh yeah.
So, there were some green shoots in that report, but gas prices caused gas station sales to fall 0.5% because of lower fuel costs. So, but only 5 of the 13 categories were up.
It may seem like I worry a lot, but I really don't. I'm just raising questions
But you
and
you worry because you're in a blue state where everybody worries, and that's wrong. You
Hey,
should
no,
live.
that's not true. We're one of the happiest cities
Well,
in the
that's what
country.
they say. Okay, that's why you have to run. In between running, you start
Well,
to
I,
worry.
I I do want to run for Congress. That's on the bucket list. I don't know if I'll get anywhere, but uh, if anybody out there listening wants to run my campaign, shoot me an email.
Well,
I would
why?
be, by the way, I would be going against Minority Whip Tom Emmer. So,
Oh, okay. Well, clearly you just want the inside information. Okay, trading information.
well, before they change the rules, that's how I'm going to get rich and fund my retirement.
There you go. There you go.
Mike Johnson did say though that he, th I like him. I mean, he's a political hack like all of those guys are. But he did say that they need to do the right thing here on insider information. That the Pelosi, they should just call it the Pelosi rule.
Well, the SEC only sued Senator Tillis from North Carolina because he sold everything during COVID, during the COVID briefing, and all the other and some others sold, but the SEC only sued him.
Interesting. Did it stick or did he settle?
No idea. I
Yeah.
mean, the new SEC chairman's dismissing a lot of the stuff, and when Trump swore him in, they said there was a lot of bogus stuff going on.
All of the you point out green shoots, and I think you're spot on. And I said welcome, to normalization at the beginning here, and I do think we are in a world of normalization. And I may have questions about things, but the nature of capitalism, Louis, is growth and expansion.
Yeah. So let's just take a step back and reiterate what's going on. Trump has a 10% tariff on everything. That will be offset by a strong dollar. I know the dollar got off to a bad start this year. It'll get its mojo back because our rates are higher, our economy is stronger. That's inevitable. And the strength of the dollar will mask that 10% tariff. He put the tariff on to start taxing the underground economy. In America, we have these huge underground economies. So when I'm in California, 20% of people don't have bank accounts. So, and I have somebody who looks after my home in Florida. And he doesn't want to be paid to buy Zelle or anything. He has to be paid cash. So there's underground economies everywhere. So you put a tariff on, so you start taxing these people. The reciprocal tariffs are just tit for tat based on how they treat us. Obviously, the biggest ones are against China right now, but the EU stumbling. Britain got a good deal, no reciprocal tariffs. Of course, we have surplus with them. Trump got farmers open up their meat markets and all, so they can finally have good tasting beef over there because their beef is horrible. And so must be the grass. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the sheep peeing on the grass. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But the uh you know everybody all the trade barriers will fall in the end if they want to do business with America. And then of course he guilts them to do stuff. Just like he's running around the Middle East and guilting them to do stuff and announce these big deals that got Navellier, Supermicro, AMD all excited.
Yeah, that is to me. That's really something you meant. You said he's the head of our National Chamber of Commerce, and
Yeah, Howard Lutnick's supposed to do that, but he's letting Trump take the lead. He can't help himself.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Howard's on the trip, of course.
Oh, I didn't even know Howard was there. He's been relatively invisible.
Well, he's out and about again. He's a little bit more measured.
Navarro is the one that's in the closet.
I've seen him, and he's better behaved too.
Yeah, okay. Well, they do seem to have their mojo back in terms of thinking about the stock market, not necessarily, per se thinking about the stock market, but they clearly listened. And maybe it was the bond market that really freaked them out. But
Well, yeah, interest rates went back up a bit, but they're going back down today after the bad PPI and the sloppy retail sales reports. So again, the Fed's still above market rates. They got to start cutting.
I don't think
E-
there's much to be afraid
ECB's
of.
cutting next week or next month. I mean,
Yeah, I almost think the Federal Reserve is irrelevant at this point. The economy is so strong that and the kicker is strong in a deflationary environment.
well, we got our lowest inventories of beef in decades, over 4 decades. Still got expensive chicken, America, even though we're the breadbasket of the world, is now a net food importer. Those tariffs were thrown on Mexico because I guess we get our
I'm still paying $6 a
tomatoes,
carton for
berries,
eggs.
avocados. What's that?
I'm still paying $6 a carton for eggs.
Well, I told you to get some chickens. Okay. You
My
got a nice backyard,
my
get a chicken coop.
my outdoor cat, who we nicknamed Dahmer, would not
Yeah.
do well with the chickens.
Well, we'll get a rooster or two. Okay. We'll see if your cat really wants to go for the hens.
Yeah. Oh boy. And then can you imagine waking up every morning to the rooster?
Um, you know, I hope you don't have zoning laws that ban that stuff.
Yeah, well, the
Miami,
neighborhood.
they have roosters running around. Okay?
Well, I was
And
gonna say,
and peacocks.
isn't
Would
it?
you like?
Didn't Hemingway have chickens, or was that cats
I don't know. I don't know. I think it
down in
was
Key West?
yeah. But if you would like a peacock, they're free here. Okay.
Really?
They're very obnoxious. They make lots of noise.
They're loud. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Getting back to the market, Louis, I'm curious what your models are showing. Are you seeing some broadening in the market?
Yeah, it
All this
broadened
good
out a
news?
bit, but we got to do our testing. I suspect it's still going to be narrow, but we'll test at the end of the earnings announcement season.
Okay.
And but the resurgence of semiconductors should help immensely.
Dividend stocks really got whacked. I noticed while rates jumped above 450, but are there some dividend names that you like at these prices?
Sure, sure. Mostly are energy related. Western Energy, WES, MPLX, midstream. Uh,
Mhm. I've been wanting to trade that MPLX.
I got a whole bunch of them.
I
I got
can't
an
get
Indian
an entry.
power producer, VST. Hess is in the portfolio, HESM, Baker Hughes, BKR. I got pipelines companies. I go by the symbol. I just don't want to give it the wrong symbol.
I got a buy signal, the Two Sigma trade for Duke Energy this morning.
Yeah, I don't do too many utilities, but Duke, I think they do a lot in natural gas. They also have an LNG plant. So
Yeah, and the last time I looked closely at Duke, real estate is a big part of their
yeah,
empire as well.
they'll also benefit from those server farms.
Okay.
They're in the south, getting bigger.
It's
Georgia.
interesting, Louis, with the market rallying here. I'm encouraged. There's some technical things that we're getting a little overextended on the Nasdaq, but the Russell 2000 hasn't. I mean, it's been recovering nicely, but Small cap stocks are still lagging. What is it going to take for small caps to get a kick in the rear here?
Well, you just need a small cap Navellier or super micro. That's all.
Where do we find that?
Well,
VNet Solutions?
well, VNet's one. That's Chinese though. I have Sezzle, SEZL. So there are some.
Yeah, yeah. The fascinating part for me is that when markets are like this, I mean, it's like clockwork, right? I mean, I'm a behavioralist at heart, and you can already see the wall of worry being built, right? You talked about me being a worry wart. Well, the market itself, I mean, it seems like they're worried about the budget debate coming up here. What are
We
your
hear
thoughts
about
on that?
everything all the time. We have Scott Bessent, our Be Happy, Don't Worry Treasury Secretary. Please, people have to, in Scott we trust. Okay.
It is as simple as that. I mean, to me, that worrying is healthy. I mean, that's what helps propel the market higher, historically speaking.
I know that, but you know, you are in Minnesota. Everybody worries up there. That's why you have tampons in the boys' bathrooms. Okay.
We have a gray day today. A thunderstorm rolled through this morning,
Okay.
so
Okay.
maybe the lack of sun is
Yes. Yes.
clouding
Take
my views here.
take some vitamin D. Go sun yourself. Okay. Cheer up. Be happy. Get
Yeah.
some chickens. Okay. Stop bitching about eggs. Okay. Okay.
Well, it's still earnings season. You said 90% of the S&P has reported. I know Home Depot reports next week. What do you think of Home Depot?
Oh well, according to the retail sales report, we had the home improvement centers and everybody did really well in April. So hopefully it shows them bottom line. They have a lot of gardening there too.
We bought all of our plants, outdoor plants, this season, last week at Home Depot.
There you go. And you showed up in the retail sales report. Congratulations.
No, well, what are the dates on retail sales? Was that April or
It was April, but home improvement and gardening was up 0.8%. Bars and restaurants were up 1.2. Overall, it was only up 0.1. We had a, a gas station sales were down 0.5%. I guess what screwed everybody up was autos. Everybody thought everybody was front running autos because they thought the prices go up, and that didn't distort things.
Yeah, I leased a Jeep in early April,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been cool here in Minnesota for most of the spring. And then we got a heat wave where it was unusually hot. And so I had to turn on the air conditioner in the new vehicle. And of course
Mm-hmm.
it did not work. So
You
I
told
went
me
to the
that.
dealer
They,
and I'm
they
well,
forgot to put the cooling thing in. Yeah.
they did. They forgot to put the Freon
Yeah.
in the car. So while that's getting fixed, I was chatting with a couple of the sales folks, and they definitely were saying that April and May were uh, March is where they got a lot of the buying
Yeah.
before the
Don't feel bad.
tariffs.
I have a Porsche came in December. Uh, the battery failed, and I have battery chargers, and I'm still waiting for a battery. But it's not covered under warranty.
What?
No.
You got a brand new
When you buy a
factory,
yeah,
and they're not going
factory
to
car,
replace
no, I got
that's
for it. It's a
wow,
lithium battery. Yeah, 2,700
wow,
bucks. Yeah,
wow,
plus whatever tariffs they throw on it. Yeah,
wow. That's
but something's
crazy.
wrong with it because I had this the smart C-Tech smart chargers on it. Or lithium, and I drove it 2 days before. It was fine. Something failed, so that those are CFP batteries or LFP batteries. So I'm not a little I'm lucky I don't have a power wall. I mean, when they fail, they fail.
That's
By the way, I
that's
was reading the fire in Moss Landing, the big battery backup burned, and they've got all kinds of damage in the soils, and the fire was everywhere. It was there, East Palestine. So who knew that battery storage could kill so many people, cause so many
I had
cancers?
no idea.
You know?
But I find it. There was an interview with Jamie Dimon that I thought was interesting here recently that he discussed competition, and it was insightful from the way he runs his own bank, assuming that your competitors are going to do everything in their power to take you down, and your next threat is right around the corner. So I find that interesting that Porsche, you know, is treating their customers, but maybe because they're so desirable that they feel they can do whatever they want to do.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could bitch, but they don't have a battery for me anyway, so I've got a car without a battery. One thing that was weird though, when the battery died, you couldn't open the hood with a cable. You have to jump the fuse box, open the fuse box, and you pull a little tab out, and then you for positive, and then the negative was the door jamb, the little hook in the door. So you had to get some current to that to open the
To
hood.
just get into the access to the battery.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how electronic all these cars have become.
Oh, goodness.
And then I had
I
trouble
would be
on
lost.
it. I had the car on it. Anyway, couldn't start it. Lithium, it's a problem.
Well, I didn't take the deep dive into electronic, but I did get a hybrid, and we just plug in with a 220 volt, and so
Yeah, well, good for you.
it seems to be working.
You have that nuclear
I
plant and you
leased I
bought a
leased the
hydro
ve I
in
leased the
Minnesota.
vehicle on April 3rd. Today is
Uh-huh.
May 15th, and I've filled the gas tank once.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a hybrid in Florida. Wife used because we get in the HOV lane with a hybrid, and when the kids were going to school,
Oh, nice.
we got stuck in traffic. So she didn't have to put gas in it to the first 19,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I put gas in it. She just
Okay.
get a call like, "Where's the gas tank?" Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's that other door on the car, you know?
exactly. Yeah. Well, let's talk about gold for a second, Louis. I was curious to
Gold's
get your
great buy,
thoughts.
probably the best buy this week right now. Gold
Gold?
price is cracked, but there's a lack of confidence in central banks, so gold will come roaring back. Obviously, the demand for gold is relentless. Obviously, there was a lot of dumping of gold in America. Um, so yeah, it's a good buy right now.
And I know you own a lot of gold mining stocks. We've done other videos just on those gold mining stocks. I'm curious. I'm assuming you own for your clients those same gold mining stocks, and have you pulled
Yeah.
anything off the
AEM,
table?
AEM, AGI, IDR, KGC, and then EGO.
I've been dying to get into any and all of those, Louis, but of course, because gold has skyrocketed, all those names are trading close to two standard deviations above the mean. But
No,
here's an interesting.
they correct.
Let me finish quick because today we're actually privileged to enter IDR today.
Mhm. Oh, good.
So we got one. I'm thrilled.
They also do rare earth minerals too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So so there, that's a small cap, which can be a little more volatile. I mean, I think their market cap is under 200
Yeah.
million. But really, most gold stocks I mean, that doesn't mean long. Keep in mind, I'm trading the Two Sigma stuff. Louis is talking about long-term investing, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
those are two different things. But I've been looking for an entry, and I finally got one on IDR.
Well, gold is the heap leach method nowadays, which means you run the couple tons of ore through cyanide, and you'll get a few ounces of gold. But all these gold mining places have to have these line ponds for the cyanide. So that's why you got to be careful when the birds are migrating. You got to have the ponds covered. You don't want them to land in the cyanide.
Oh my goodness. I knew nothing about that.
Well, it's really sad. In Brazil, where they have the gold mines with hundreds of people, you see them literally. They have a vial of cyanide, and they pour on the dirt to get the gold, and of course they're touching everything. So, and then they wonder why they die of cancer.
That's not the healthiest behavior.
That's like Monterey, California now. The soil's polluted from the lithium battery fire, which lasted for a month.
Well, the
And your air was
other quote
polluted as
unquote
well.
inflationary hedge, Louis, was also in the news this week. Bitcoin reaching record levels. I know we don't
Yeah,
talk about Bitcoin at all, but Coinbase was added to the S&P, so we
yeah.
can maybe talk about that for a little bit. What
And
are
I have Robinhood, HOOD. Yeah, we have an SEC chairman that's really pro crypto. We have a president that's pro crypto. Had you bought $1 million of Trump's meme coin? And by the way, tokens are not considered securities. But had you bought $1 million of Trump's meme coin, you could have dinner with him.
Oh, is that right? That was included in
Right.
the purchase.
Yeah, and then you could use those tokens to buy his watches. Okay, it's a watch for only $100,000, Jamie. Okay, you get some
I
gold
want the
tennis.
gold tennis shoes and the gold guitar.
I don't know about the guitar, but I do know about the cologne.
I I would love, I mean, I know maybe you've been able to rub elbows with him at your club, but having it's like Warren Buffett used to do that. He would, for charity, auction off a lunch with Buffett.
Yeah, but that was go to a charity. A lot of that stuff goes to Trump personally.
Of course, Trump's not going to do anything for charity.
He had a lot of legal fees to pay. Okay.
It's just I have to laugh. I mean he is Adam Smith through and through. It's wonderful.
Well, what he's doing in the Middle East is interesting. He's got Mark Levine all mad at him, but other people are tolerating what he's trying to do. He's obviously trying to isolate Iran by making friends in that whole region, including Syria. The new head of Syria had a $10 million bounty on his head not that long ago.
Oh no.
But he kicked all the Russians out as well as Assad. So there was a vacuum there, and he's, pretends he's a businessman now. But they were killing a lot of the Assad loyalists not that long ago. So so we'll see. And then of course he's telling them all they got to join the Abraham Accords and let Israel's right to exist. But obviously the conflict is the Pentagon. And the Pentagon has plans to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, and Trump wants them to not. We don't want him to do a deal, so he doesn't have to do that. Meantime, he had the B-2s and Diego Garcia obliterating the Houthis because the bunker busters have to come from the B-2. So we'll see if Iran tries to wiggle out of it as they always do, but in the meantime, he's isolating them. Of course, then he'll take the sanctions off their oil if they agree to get rid of the nuclear stuff.
Right.
I'm
Right.
waiting for him to just drop leaflets over Iran, like, by the way, please stay away from the nuclear facilities and please stay away from any Republican guard outposts.
Because we're coming after him.
Well, yeah, we love the Persians, but I just want you to know. So, well, obviously the port blew up, and I assume that was Mossad because that was the rocket fuel. And that 55% of Iran's goods came through that port.
Okay. Well, it again, it's fascinating. The market certainly likes what's happening, and as I said at the beginning, it does look like the next worrisome moment for the market is the debate over the budget bill. I don't think that's going to be that big of a
They're
deal.
gonna ram it through because they got July 4th coming. What are they gonna do? Not go home on July 4th?
That's right. And
It's
of
gonna get
course,
done.
they're all patriots, so they
Yeah,
want to
they're
get it
gonna
done
get
before the
done, and the only thing is the reconciliation. Because Trump wants everybody under 200 grand to have massive tax relief, including no taxes, Social Security, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. They we'll see what he does on the upper bracket, but
What is that going to do for the self-employment tax?
well, as you know, when you're self-employed, you're screwed. I'm screwed. I get audited by the IRS, and I pay a million to right now in
Great.
Medicare taxes. I can't.
We're not gonna see any benefit of that ding bill then,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah.
Okay,
It's
last topic, Louis, and then I'll
yeah.
let you go. The these euphemisms in the market are legendary, and one of the ones I like to follow is sell in May and go away. And I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, I've discussed that on Navellier Market Buzz and stuff, but a lot of it is the pension funding season. It dries up. Um, a lot more of it is people tend to pay more of their taxes on September 15th. Um, the way the IRS works is they know how much you should hold every quarter. So you can't just catch up on September 15th, you'll be paying a penalty. But even though, but people still tend to under withhold and then catch up on September 15th. So there's net selling pressure in the market in August and first half of September. So, but yeah, that's real. But June and July are okay. We tend to rally going in the holiday weekends.
Yeah,
August,
I think
August has
we're
supplies.
setting up for a nice rally into Memorial Day, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We always rally going into holiday weekends because we're in a good mood.
It's
You know,
school's out and summer's here.
one thing I did neglect. Apparently, Elon has a robot that does the Trump dance.
Oh, this thing?
I did the robot have a little blonde toupee on it? Yeah.
Yeah, is that if you have a video of that, send it to me, please.
No, I don't have it. But apparently I'm getting reports of it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I am
Well,
missing.
are there any other stocks we should mention quick before we close it
Well,
out?
gold's the best buy. The gold stocks are the best buy near term. Vital Farms, my chicken stock did beat. That's good. Still in Calmine, CALM. Um, but I think Costco's going to beat. They'll probably be cautious in the guidance. Their
Okay.
same sales are only up 7%. Costco sells a lot of gas. Lower gas prices will affect them. But no, it's and also when Nvidia announces, don't be surprised if it doesn't go up because they write so many covered call options on. But in the end,
You
it'll be going.
mentioned VNet earlier, Louis. Just want to chime
Yeah,
in here. They report earnings. Their unaudited earnings are reported on May 28th.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the other good Chinese stock we have is HSAI. Those are the LiDAR systems.
Oh,
So
the
I
self-driving
made a
car.
little video that I'm expecting Uber to win the self-driving robotaxi race. So right now we have Waymo expanding all across the country. We have Tesla going with a robotaxi. The first one will be Model Ys. And then Uber will be using the ID Buzz vans. They're going to start in LA.
Hmm.
So you just order on Uber, and then the van shows up and takes you places.
Well, HSAI, I'm trying to look at it real quick to see if there's a trading opportunity from a Two Sigma standpoint.
Well, it's Chinese, so it jerks around a lot.
It's very volatile. I see that, but
Yeah,
it's above the
yeah.
mean right now, so nothing to do there for me. But
But the LiDAR comes from them, and Waymo and the Uber system will use LiDAR. Tesla's using cameras.
okay. Well, let's leave it at that, Louis. Thanks again for all your thoughts.
Yeah,
Good, kind of random discussion this week, but the key message is, hey, stop worrying.
exactly. Be happy. Be like our Treasury Secretary.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
Take
Louis.
care,
This is
Jeremy.
JD for The Rational Trader. Louis and I will be back next week with another episode. Take care. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
Thanks, Jamie.